Okay, it's hard to do while I'm driving, but I can't help but notice when I'm looking around places, all these clumps of dead trees. There's dead trees everywhere I go, all around the country, on all the different properties, on all the different river systems I go to. Like, for instance, right here, all the way back there, right here, just to the side of me. Dead trees in the river. Dead trees up here waiting to fall down onto the road and block it. I see dead trees everywhere. Some of the properties that I go to, and one of the properties I lived on, like there's like a bunch of them, a whole bunch of them just there. I reckon in the last quarter mile I've driven past over 100 dead standing trees. You know, they can be called widow makers. They serve no other purpose apart from falling down and are a potential hazard to life, cause issues with blocking roads. Here's more of them, blocking creeks. When they finally do go and they fall down from a storm, the roots get ripped up, creates a big hole in the ground, and erosion starts. And that goes into the creek, blocks them up. Okay, there's more over there. Again, like we've just driven past hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dead trees in the last kilometre. Okay, we've got more on the ground. There's another one over there. There's more over, yeah, there's a whole, another little pocket full of dead ones over here. Here's a big one right there. Now, I can't help but think that they could be a really good fuel source for something like steam generated locomotives, or something to power small towns. And I'm not talking like old school chug 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 chug. Look at all this dead shit everywhere. All dead shit. Dead shit on the ground. You know, like some modern steam technology where the wood in a highly insulated and well designed stove, rocket stove or wood gas or whatever's the most efficient, surely that could create steam that goes through small pipes under pressure. More dead trees down there, more dead trees standing. That turns a turbine, the turbine turns a generator, creates electricity to power electric motors for locomotives, trucks, to power small towns, homesteads, cattle stations. Look, there's just more everywhere I look. There's just dead trees standing. They're just doing nothing. Yes, of course, some will go back into the ground for biomaterial to improve the soil, but they take a hell of a long time. Look at this, just sitting on the ground. That's potential fuel that we don't need coming from the Middle East. Australia, or anywhere around the world, but Australia especially, could become fuel independent. Local towns could become fuel independent. The fuel is sourced locally, and you could even have it boosted by plantations as well. So it's just something on my mind. I can't help but think about it. Why can't we have you know, and if you have something like that, surely coal could always be used as an emergency backup. Yeah, coal could be used as an emergency backup. And you know, as for locomotives, you don't need to change any infrastructure. Already operating railway lines. Look, here's a goanna going over the road. I can't see the screen, but little Parenti dragon or whatever you call them. Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's an absolute wasted resource. We could clean up the environment, create, look at that dead tree just covered in vines, more dead shit on the ground. And if that stuff was to be cleaned up, there'd be less bushfire risk, less fuel for bushfires, and you're given more area for to plant new younger trees. You know, why couldn't you pull down, gather all that shit over there, and that other pile, and that other one over there, and in its place plant some small trees that are going to grow up to be big trees one day, and then just burn the stuff that's already dead. Surely look how much we've just gone past in like 2.5 kilometers of just one road in Australia. You know, kick it off with all the dead stuff that's lying around. Have plantations earmarked for, you know, a decade or two down the road. That here's another one. That look at it, another one just sitting there, wasted. Another one on the ground over here. And then just use the already existing infrastructure that we have to power trains. Same with the road, the bitumen roads that we have, those black roads that they're like big solar panels. You can't stand on the road that's been out in the sun without shoes on because it's so hot. Why can't we be tapping into the heat generated from the black bitumen road and be preheating water? So we've already got preheated hot water that goes into our heating hot water systems. It's completely green, environmentally friendly, or no more dirty than the actual roads that we already have. Again, existing infrastructure. Surely we could have some aluminium or copper wire or something along those lines, fins, and they just got to tap into the road. They could preheat hot water for townships and take a massive environmental burden off the energy grid. You know, how easy would it be for local governments, local councils to say any developer that wants to build a housing estate has to have XYZ implemented in the construction of your little housing project, and they just have to do it, and then that will spur on industry, create jobs, create technologies. We don't have to rely on the Middle East or any of that sort of garbage. Okay.